another interview. Okay, this today we have Jhunelle, who was born and raised in Kingston and St. Andrew, Jamaica. She began exploring her country regularly following the New Year's resolution to travel more. Once she started, her appetite to learn, see, and experience more only to continue to grow. Her website, simplylocal.life, was created in 2017, ultimately to promote Grand Jamaica. It highlights places to visit, things to do, products, and businesses. Simplylocal.life has allowed her to meet fascinating people, collect and capture valuable stories, and of course, learn more about what Jamaica and the world has to offer. As always, my co-host Chris will do the interview. So take it away, Chris.
Thanks, Denise. And welcome, Jhunelle. Good to have you this afternoon.
Hi, Chris. Thank you so much for having me. And hi, Janice.
This is wonderful. Well, let's get to know you a little. Share with, for this starters, a little about your family root.
Well, my immediate family is a family of four, two parents, boy and a girl. The rest of my family, as far as I know, are mostly from Jamaica, from Kingston and St. Thomas, as well as there's some family in other parts of the island, but mostly in Kingston. In terms of my roots, I know I have origins in Cuba and Lebanon as well. So that's as far as I know. I'm sure there's a lot more history there, but that's what I know of my family.
Yeah, that's a rich cultural background that you do have.
Definitely.
You have such a technical background that how did this come about? What sparked your interest in IT and the like as you grew up?
Well, my interest in IT started with graphic design because my father is a graphic designer, so that is where it started. That's the first job I actually wanted to have. But he encouraged me to go beyond graphic design and cover information technology, so I would be more marketable. So of course from there I learned about website building, programming, of course, graphic design, you name it. I pretty much covered the field of IT, but I am more interested in the artistic part of it. So I more practice the web designing more than any other aspect of it, and of course, social media, blogging, everything seems to happen for a reason because it all helped me to be where I am today. I'm able to do my own videos, do my own photos, do my own graphics, do my own website, etc. Not everybody has that vast skill set, and I would say it has definitely helped me get to where I am with simplylocal.life.
Boy, that's a really rich skill set. Were there other folks maybe in school that encouraged you they saw the talent there, latent talent, and encouraged you to further develop it beyond your dad?
Not really. What I do now with Simply Local, in a way, it kind of happened by accident. I ended up doing social media to help out an organization that is near and dear to my family. I started managing their social media, and of course with that I was able to build on some of those skill sets. And being able to build on those skill sets, of course, I practice more on my own time and my own projects, and Simply Local just happened to be one of those projects eventually. So as I said, everything happens for a reason. It really was not a plan. It just kind of culminated in a different way.
It kind of evolved into that.
Yeah.
So your blog of well-renowned So you have so many skills, but blogging is one of your major crafts.
Yes.
How did you decide on that as the main piece? And it seemed like you also have kind of niched down to what you're going to be blogging about. Tell us a little about that.
Well, as I said, it all kind of came together. So when I started working in social media and thus building my experience in that field, that allowed me to get a formal job as a social media manager versus just helping out an organization. And when I worked as a social media manager for my former employer, my job description kept growing because they realized I had so many skill sets. So from there, I began redesigning their website, and as a part of that, I blogged to keep the website current and keep people coming back to it, when other things were not being updated on the website. And that is how my blogging started, honestly, doing it for a former employer and people responding well to it. And then I was like, oh, okay, this is something I can do. And I started working on it for myself from there.
Wonderful. So Simply Local, it has such an unassuming name, but powerful name to it. How did you go about even coming up with that type of to be able to express yourself in that kind of domain place?
Well, as Janice had said in the introduction, my desire to travel started from a New Year's resolution to travel more. And the more I did it, the more I became intrigued. So when I said, okay, let me use blogging as a creative outlet, that was already something I was doing in my home country. And that was already something people were repeatedly asking me about in terms of asking for recommendations or for information on some of the places I visited. So I thought, okay, let me do a travel blog. And from there, of course, travel blogs for the most part tend to be international, people visiting different countries, whereas mine, it's me exploring my hometown, which many people take for granted. So I wanted to make sure the name reflected that what I was doing was focusing on Jamaica, and I wanted people to know that it was from a local standpoint versus, a visitor standpoint. So it should be more authentic, and there would be a little more inside information, etc., etc. So from a brainstorm, that's just the name that stuck.
Okay, it's a great name. It's simple but powerful. Yes.
Thank you.
So you seem to have quite a following. So how do people find you? Do you do any paid traffic or it's just word of mouth? How do people go about finding you?
Most of my visits are organic. For those who don't know, that means I don't pay for people to find me. Sometimes I do. When I partner with businesses, I will pay to promote those particular businesses, but most of the time it's just my search engine optimization practices, because a bulk of my traffic comes from search engine results, as well as promoting the content on social media. And of course, with that, my subscribers, whether email or social media subscribers, they also, when they find things valuable or useful, they will share it as well or tell other people. So word of mouth, of course, is a great factor. So a little bit of everything, really, as much as I can go.
That's really great. That's really good. So you have such a diversity of topics, like you could have on mangoes just about, or different parishes. How do you go about finding, do you have an algorithm how you go about deciding cover as far as topics?
A lot of them, something just happens really and inspires me. Let's say I will have an experience that I probably did not necessarily expect to have, and I just think, wow, this needs to be shared. The one that sticks out in my mind is when I stayed at a particular villa on Treasure Beach in St. Elizabeth, which is now a business partner of mine. So I offer discounts for people who want to stay at that villa. I was staying there, and as a part of the experience, they had connected me with a local tour group to look for turtles because it was turtle hatching season. So, of course, it's not promised you're going to find a turtle or see turtles hatch, but we went looking, and just when we gave up, we found not only mama turtle laying eggs, but right beside her, about 10 eggs hatched. So I saw a turtle hatching and laying all at once, and I was like, wow. Right? This was a very rare experience, and from that, of course, I decided to share about the experience as well as information about turtles and turtle conservation, things like that, so other people could have the experience and could also learn more, and it would hopefully inspire them to, you know, think about the environment and the impact that we have on it. So some of it, you know, is paid, as I said, sponsored things. Some of it is by chance, and some of them are just ideas, something that interests me, and I just think, you know, I think this will interest other people as well, so I find a way to share it.
That's neat. So you're about to go out on an assignment. What kind of what do you take to make sure that you capture the entire experience well? What do your luggage looks like?
Well, it really depends on the assignment, because it really varies. Some of them are events. Some of them, as I said, are places to stay overnight or 2 nights. Some of them are day visits, like to a beach or a river, etc. But typically, I will always have a camera, whether it is my DSLR camera or it's my phone. Definitely have to have a camera. Where I'm going, that would also determine what I'm carrying. So to rivers and beaches, I will probably also carry waterproof cases, things like that. More adventurous places like hikes, I would carry a GoPro. Sunscreen, it really depends. Water shoes. It really depends on what the assignment is, and of course, what is needed of me. I'd carry a stabilizer for the camera if needed, so I can get steady shots. Sometimes I have to carry lights with me to make sure, you know, the shots are illuminated and visible. It really all depends.
I figure it's a good, you know, it's a lot of planning to make sure that you fully capture the moment.
Definitely.
So do you also, are interviews with locals also a part of your presentation?
Yeah, I don't do that very often, I will admit, but I do it sometimes. There's some collaborations I do where I highlight Jamaican products and, of course, Jamaican businesses. So sometimes I'll speak to managers, owners, entrepreneurs, people like that, so they can tell their story. Because we know everybody has a story, and every brand and every product has a story. So sometimes, depending on what it is, if I feel it is fit or if they feel they want to share, there's always a story to be told.
Wow, and you'll extract that. This is neat. So because of your growing following, there must be something about your style. We know it's good content that people like. What are people saying about what they're hearing from you?
I get different feedback. People tend to like my visuals, whether that be photos or videos. In terms of videos, sometimes they can be entertaining in terms of comedy, where sometimes they're more educational inspiration. So it really depends on the value. But the overall thing is valuable content. People have shared that they like that it is from a local's point of view, or
Right.
I highlight things that may, in most cases, only a local would be aware of, type of thing. So I think that's the main thing. Valuable would be the common word.
Right. The valuable. Okay.
Yes.
Is there a special post that you did that really stirred a lot of warm memories for folks that you'd like to give us a taste of?
Warm memories. Single post. Wow. The turtle has been the most recent one that comes to mind. Yeah. Just because of how unexpected it was and how much it taught me indirectly. But I would say in terms of fond memories, the very first group trip that I did with subscribers, I was invited to a small islet in Portland, which is now a business partner of mine that I also offer discounts for. It's I like to call it an all-natural islet, solar powered, only food that is grown from the earth, waterfall, mineral pool. It's a lovely place to disconnect and get
Paradise.
away. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's paradise, really. I stayed there earlier in the year, completely off the grid for a day and a half. It's lovely. And
wow.
I think that would be one of my warmest memories, firstly, because it was the first time I invited subscribers who I had not previously met to come along with me. And because it was one of the first places that reached out to me. That's when my following was a lot smaller. So I didn't really think of, reaching out to people to, collaborate or sponsor trips. They reached out to me, so that's another point.
Right.
And the third thing is that even then, and all the people who I have organized to go there since that initial trip, everybody, including myself, has the same sentiment that it is one of the best trips or outings that they have experienced, just because, I guess, of how pure and authentic and how natural it is. It's completely different. So I think that would be one of my warmest memories.
This is great. Well, let me take you to the other extreme. Is there one that was very challenging for you?
Ooh, there have been a few. The one that sticks out to me is a hike to one of the highest botanical gardens in the Western Hemisphere. Of course, I love to hike in terms of scenery, but my body does not love to hike. And
okay.
I knew that before going. But the group that I went with, based on how they described it, I thought it was going to be easier than it was. It was not easy at all. So mentally and physically, it was a challenge for me. It was an uphill hike, 4 hours each way in the rain. And when we got to the garden, because it was raining, the place was gloomy. So, of course, the garden isn't looking at its best, but it was still a lovely experience looking back on it. Not at the time. But, yeah, that would have been one of my more challenging experiences.
Well, as you're building your brand here, people are starting to see your value. And as we go into the post-COVID world where, tourism and other enterprises are starting up again, are you available to help people start up their business? And how would they go about engaging you for such a opportunity?
But I don't really help people start their business.
Restart. I'm talking about restart, right?
Oh, restart.
COVID shut down, and now they need to get out. They need social media, a blogger to be able to do stuff.
I misheard. I'm sorry. Well, yes, I'm definitely available for that. I have been partnering with a few businesses, both during and I don't want to say after because we're still, unfortunately, in the COVID period. But I have been helping businesses in different ways, but all of them in advertising. Some of them through providing special discounts or further discounts than what I already had existed. Some of them I'm helping them running social media ads. Some of them, of course, I use my platform to advertise, whether it's an article, photo, video, etc. So I'm trying to help them get the word out, and of course, I've been pushing for locals to support local businesses as much as they can in this time because everybody's going through a hard time, I'm sure, with this COVID thing. So if you can support your home, your fellow countrymen, do that first if you can. So that's what I've been pushing. And I've definitely been getting queries and sparking interest. And up to yesterday, I think somebody said they were planning to go to somewhere they had seen at simplylocal.life and gotten the directions from. So I actually need to check in with them and ask how their experience was. Because I know, everybody has different experiences. So I'm hoping they enjoyed it as much as I did.
Incredible. This is great. Yeah. So, hopefully we'll be out of this challenge soon. And, we just hope that you'll continue to grow and to be such a strong, important voice out. How do you see yourself evolving and practicing your craft?
Evolving, I'm hoping / working towards partnering with more businesses, more brands, both Jamaican and international. But of course, Jamaica have my heart, so Jamaica going to come first. But I want I want simplylocal.life to be like a catalog, similar to a marketplace. If you're looking for something to do or somewhere to support in Jamaica, I want Simply Local to be one of, if not the first place you go to. I want to be able to widen the content that I currently have. And of course, sometimes you have to do that on your own dollar, but for as far as I want it to, at this moment, I cannot do it all on my own dollar. So hopefully I'll be able to partner with a lot more brands and a lot more businesses and a lot more venues and showcase them and work with them to get conversions for them as well.
Good. I think you have a good product. You deliver it well. Whoever partners with you will certainly benefit from that. So in closing, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with folks about the experiences and how they can, take advantage of the value that you do present into this marketplace?
Sure. So if you have wondered if you should visit Jamaica, you definitely should. Many people see Jamaica just as probably beautiful beaches and reggae and dancehall music, but it's so much more than that. Even many locals are ignorant to all the things that we offer, which is why I started simplylocal.life in the first place, to ultimately inspire locals to explore their own country as I am, and visitors to learn more about the country versus the select places that tend to be shown over and over again. So I would definitely say visit Jamaica, know what you want to visit Jamaica for, and I'm sure you will find it some way, somehow. And if you need any suggestions or any inspiration, feel free to visit www.simplylocal.life. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest. And all of them are simplylocal.life, so it's very easy to remember. So, happy traveling.
Wonderful. I'm certainly going to go out and follow all of your stuff before the day is out. Go ahead, Jhunelle.
And so before you go, we're going to test you on your Jamaicanness. So we've got 3 questions for you.
Okay.
Juicy or tasties?
Tasty for me.
Dexter Daps or Chronics?
That is a harder question. It really, for me, it really depends on the mood, because music goes with different moods. You know, sometimes you want dancehall, sometimes you want reggae, sometimes you want dancehall soul or reggae soul, etc. So it really depends on where I am and how I'm feeling. But if I had to choose one, I would probably say Chronics.
Yeah, that's who I would choose as well. Cricket or football?
Football for me. I am a football lover and I come from a football family. Well, in a way, I also come from a cricket family, but more so football. So I think it would be wrong if I said anything but.
But football. Okay. So to learn more about Jamaican diaspora, visit JamaicanDiaspora.com. To learn more about Chris Daly, visit digital2, that's the number 2, grow.com. And to learn more about Jhunelle, visit simplylocal.life. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Bye now.